touch your toes. Simple enough to do. You just completed the first life-saving test every woman needs to do to know their risk for a heart attack. How'd you do? If you weren't able to touch your toes, it may be a sign that your arteries are too stiff. The farther away you are from touching your toes, the stiffer your arteries are, and the more likely you are to wind up in my OR. My life as a heart surgeon is still at the core of what defines me.
Right up all the way, head down.
But my hospital is also the one place I don't want to see you end up. I want you to understand the immediate danger of a heart attack. So today I'm giving you an unprecedented look into the human heart.
Hey, how are you, Marcy? Welcome. I brought you a little gift. Do you have any heart problems or family history?
Yes, I have high blood pressure.
Well, we're going to talk about heart failure and heart disease. But I got to say, as a heart surgeon, I know a lot about this, but I learned it here.
Okay.
Come on.
Thank you.
So I picked a few bodies, and we're going to look at several to be able to compare them. And I'm going to start you off by showing you something that is deep inside the body, something that many people never think about. This is the belly. The chest is up here. And I'm not showing you the heart first.
Okay.
Because the secret to understanding how to keep the heart healthy actually lies in the blood vessels of the body. And we're going to talk about this structure right here. Go ahead and feel that. This is called the abdominal aorta.
That's hard.
That's calcium and plaque that's damaged this aorta. The heart is here. It's a relatively normal structure. There's the inside. There's the blood that's clotted in there.
Oh, that's clotted?
Yeah.
Okay.
These blood vessels all have the same basic problem. They have plaque in them. They don't carry blood. They damage the heart. So the blood comes out of the heart, goes to this blood vessel, which goes up to the head. And you see this right here?
Yes.
That eggshell? That is plaque. That's what it looks like. You hear that?
So this is what blocks your arteries. This is the plaque that stops the blood flowing.
The number one reason we get hardening of the arteries is high blood pressure. So now I'm going to show you someone whose life ended because they had an enlarged heart. I know it's a lot to take in. But if I went through this entire room of all these bodies, you look behind you, half the people in this room are here because of this.
Oh.
So here's the rib cage. That reveals a heart that's very different from the last one. This heart got so large because, unlike the last heart, see how thin that is? See how damaged this wall is? It's not supposed to be thin like that. It's supposed to be thick and robust, like a cobra coiling out of the chest. This one is flaccid, like a balloon that got blown up too much. So hold that in your hand.
Okay.
This is what a normal heart looks like.
That's what a healthy heart is.
Look how large that is.
Wow. How does it get this big?
There are a lot of reasons it can get this big. It could be hormones. Thyroid disease can cause this. You can have infections that can cause this.
Okay, I have thyroid disease and high blood pressure.
The high blood pressure is one reason that you get a heart that fails.
Wow.
You got both.
Then I've got both.
Every organ that the heart's pumping to is being damaged the way the heart's being damaged.
Okay.
Our challenge is to stop that.
And how do we stop it?
I'm glad you came to the show.
Right.
Because that's what we're going to talk about next.
Okay.
So I'm here with Marcy, who helped me in the lab. She's also going to help me reveal the life-saving test every woman needs to know to prevent a heart attack. Because the point here is I don't want you to end up with an aorta like the one that Marcy just held. So next test I'm going to walk everyone through is something called the waist-to-hip ratio. That sounds like what it really is. So I've got a measuring tape. Can't you measure anything else with? May I measure your waist?
You may.
All right, so first we'll get the waist. Pulls around here. And your waist size is, suck it in, suck. You can do a Scarlet O'Hara here. Suck it in. It's about 30 inches. 30 inches. Nicely done. And your hips, just lowering a little bit down below that. I do like a tailor here. And your hips are about 36 inches. You see that? 36 and a half. Let's do the math. 30 over 36 is 0.83. And you don't have to be a mathematician. It's a simple calculation. You want that ratio between your waist and your hips to be less than 0.85. 0.85. That's the ideal for any woman. So I don't care about the fat thighs. I don't even care about some weight in the hips. I care about that waist getting large. And it's more valuable actually than a body mass index for helping me understand how much belly fat you have, which is why it's so important to screen that so we don't end up with the kinds of aortas that we were talking about earlier. Next test, simple one everyone can do on their own. So everyone in the audience, please do this. Take your left hand, open it up like this, and put your right hand right where the bone is here, and gently push on it. So again, with your ring finger, your index finger, your third digit, you can put pressure right there. Let me do it to you. I'll help you do it. Put it right there. And what you're going to do is count the number of times you feel that pulse going. So let's go for 10 seconds now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 10 seconds, and I can predict yours is going to be about 10 times in 10 seconds, which gives you a heart rate of around 60. Right? Because whatever that heart rate is for 10 seconds, multiply it by 6 to get to the full minute. And as long as you get it in that 60 to 80 range, you're good to go. That's where most adults are. But here's the warning sign. If you're a woman and that number is getting above 80, it starts to worry me. And when you hit 90, your chance of having heart disease and dying of heart disease is 3 times higher than if the rate is a good one. The normal, which is, again, between 60 and 80 beats per minute.
Okay.
All right. The next test is called the CRP test. This is actually a blood test. And it's a simple test called C-reactive protein for CRP, and it measures inflammation in the body. Remember, the heart attacks that we see out there, it's not just because the vessels closes down. It also is because there's inflammation, irritation on the blood vessels. So because of that, there's this raging fire in there, and sometimes that fire catches the artery wall in it, and it all gets destroyed at once. More inflammation means more plaque to try to soothe the area, which means you're more likely to have a heart attack, especially a sudden heart attack. You want the number to be ideally less than 1. That means you're at low risk. If you're between 1 and 3, you're at average risk for a heart attack. But who wants to be average? You want to be better than average. And if you're above 3, that means you're at higher risk for a heart attack. Women who have elevated levels of CRP above that 3 are 4 times more likely to have a heart attack or a stroke than folks who have normal levels. So, and remember, other things will elevate the CRP, autoimmune diseases, infections. So you want to make sure that you analyze it, with the awareness of that. Your number, may I share it with everybody? What's
me.
Well, it's 3, which means you're in the average, bordering on getting a little more than that. So we want to examine things we can do to reduce inflammation inside of your body. And we've got tips for that, because that's what I'm going to spend my time talking about with you all. Because all of these numbers are fixable. The ratios are fixable, the pulse is fixable, the CRP is fixable. Even whether you touch your toes is fixable if you work at it.
Okay.
All right? Now, I'm going to quiz for you. You ready, Marcy? This is so everybody can hear me. Which of these common conditions was just discovered to put you at higher risk for a heart attack? Is it a headache, a stomach ache, or a backache? The answer may surprise you. I'll tell you what it is when we come back.
Up next, roughly 9 million Americans are at risk.
You don't even know it.
From your sleep
Doubles your risk of having a problem with your heart.
to your skin.
This is what's happening.
Surprising reasons you're at risk for a heart attack. And later,
We're making it so easy for you.
It's fabulous and it's simple.
how to turn your heart health around. That's coming up.